Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren. And I'm Michelle. And we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hello there, hi there, and welcome to the coziest podcast in all of podcast land. All the land. Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. It's so nice to have you here, listener. Thank you. I know that there's a billion podcasts that you could be listening to. Thank you for choosing ours. You've come to the right place.
Right?
Yeah. Today, we have a wonderful lineup of conversation for you. We are talking about, we go back a little bit in the day. We're talking about this botched nose job I had, as well as, you know, what summers used to be like for kids. And then we navigate our way into
the dread of today.
Well, the dread of today, but I'm sharing some stranger encounters I've had in the past week or so.
Which are uplifting.
One is feel good and one's not so much.
No.
And speaking of not so much feeling good, we did take our conversation into something that is the most uncozy of topics I think we've ever talked about. It's up there with the most uncozy. And it is the attempt at assassination on Donald J. Trump. And we're sharing what our feelings are and how we are taking good care of ourselves to navigate this really scary time that we're all living in. I mean, no one's immune to the energy that is moving around where we are here in this country. So we're having a bit of a discussion on that. And then it's the regular program as usual for you guys. Again, anytime I talk about it, it just
same.
Brings
activation in the midsection.
Yeah. Close of the throat. Close of the throat.
Heated.
Makes me feel dizzy, to be honest.
Not cozy. Not
cozy. But the good news is, if there is any, we have an event tonight at Three Corners Grill and Tap for our Asking for a Friend event sponsored by Cureleaf Dispensaries. This is our third installment of an in-person gathering of the Canna Curious and the Canna Enthusiasts to talk, to learn, to meet one another, like-minded community. And yeah, again, it's kind of all revolves around cannabis, one of our favorite topics. And these days, dude, I am almost every night eating my new favorite are not that they're new favorite, but I've exchanged my Lost Farm Durban Poison for my wild pomegranate 1-to-1s. Listen to me now.
Yeah.
You want 5 milligrams, maybe 2.5 or 5 milligrams, depending on where you are in your cannabis experience. They slap so hard in a good way. Feel good, shoulders drop. It is the perfect combination of relaxation and feel good vibes.
Yeah.
No joke. This might be like my new glass of wine at night. Sometimes Anthony's like, edibles hit, and I'm just laughing. I'm laughing. I am feeling good. I'm saying funny things.
One with the couch. Doesn't matter.
I'm one
with
myself. Yes.
It's cozy.
Wild. WYLD. They are like artisanal gummies. I highly recommend you give those a go. They are strong. So, start low and go slow.
And they also are packaged in the cutest way that they could also make just a delightful gift for a cannabis enthusiast in your
They're
life.
The most
like
beautiful.
Happy birthday. Yeah, or good luck with the election. Or you know what? Here, you look like you need some cuteness.
You look like you need these.
Touch of THC.
You guys, they're gorgeous. They're one of the most beautifully packaged edibles I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot. So if you do go shopping for those at Cureleaf, you can use our code SISTER30 for 30% off of your entire purchase, which is a big bang for your buck because tax in this city, in this state with cannabis
is doozy.
Astronomical.
It's a kick in the D.
It is. So yeah, if you can join us this evening, it's going to be fun. It's in New Lenox. We're going to hang out, have a couple bites. If you'd like to have a cocktail or just a soda, we'll be there for that. There'll be giveaways, there'll be raffles, and then there will be the infamous bus ride that you will take to the dispensary to go shopping for all of your canna needs. Thank you to Cureleaf for sponsoring us and our podcast. You are one of our favorite partners of all time. Okay, friends and listeners, we do wish you well this week. Enjoy this episode today and be sure to share it with someone who you think can use a listen.
Rock and roll.
Okay, I'm much happier about the side of my profile that we are now recording.
This is a positive change.
There's a difference.
Did you decide this after you started diving into the Riverside videos on the back end?
Yeah, so Michelle and I are gearing up to post some TikToks, you guys, because we think that might help our cause.
That we think. Think anything
It will.
we can get.
And I've been watching our videos and our, what we look like and what we're talking about. And, I have a good side. Listen, I learned at a very young age about having a good side. What side do you feel most comfortable on being photographed?
Can your side be your front?
Of course. It could be full frontal.
Okay.
It could be
full frontal for me, face. I'm not talking about face, from the
not
neck
titties down.
No.
Face. And mine's my left side. I attribute a lot of my good side to a botched nose job I had when I was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. However old I was I 15? I can't remember if I was young. 13 or 15 anymore.
Was your nose even fully developed? And also
probably not.
Went
to the worst doctor ever in Hinsdale. I've shared this before. I will not give his name publicly, but
call her on the side.
Call me if you are looking to get a nose job and you're thinking about going to doctor. Because no, hell no, don't go to him. Because years later, I went and I always had issues with how my nose looked.
He always looked one of my friends' noses too.
So I'm one of two, and there's many more out there. Because when you botch one or two, you're just botching.
You're just a botcher.
You're just a botcher.
You are just causing nose debauchery. Did you see what I did there? Hey,
and then I went to a plastic surgeon randomly with someone for their own consultation. And I was like, since we're here, can you? And he was like, you have so much scar tissue on one side of your nose that it's like Michael Jackson. We can't go. We're not going to do anything. And he's like, you actually have a botched nose job. And I was like, oh my God, that explains everything. Because
so a doctor actually said that to you.
Oh yes. I was told, he's like, you had a bad nose job. What happened was my nose appears crooked a lot in photos and it's not, my septum is straight. So I thought for years he didn't break my nose properly. I'm like, he must not have done a full job. And it turned out that the nose is straight. It's the side of my nose. Yeah. It's one side. They're two different noses. It's really weird and kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. Anyways, hence why I now only will show my left side of my face.
I mean,
everyone now run to YouTube and look at an old video versus this one of our podcast.
You will see. Nose.
You will. But Mariah Carey's the one that taught me many moons ago about having a good side.
So does that mean more people have asymmetrical faces than just...
No, I think it's very rare for someone to have a symmetrical face.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah,
symmetrical
that's correct.
means eyes are even. My
everything
eyes,
is the
one's
same,
lower
perfectly.
than the other one. Yeah, what's your name?
Maybe
Elizabeth
you had
Hurley.
torticollis and the helmet thing wasn't a thing.
I did have
then.
a torticollis, and I think mom and dad didn't give me the helmet. So I'm basically like a version of sloth.
They didn't have the helmet for us, Lauren. We all are walking around with fucking crooked faces because no one gave a fuck about our generation.
Isn't it the truth?
We were just left out to dry.
I mean, honestly, we had a block party this past weekend, and there was a bounce house, and a couple of us were watching our kid. I mean, Luna's 2, so I have to keep an eye on her. But there were some other mom and dads kind of keeping an eye, and I was talking to another parent about back in the day, in the 80s and early 90s, they were goodbye.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye. There were no eyes. They were we are doing our own thing, get out of the house.
When I was a kid, I left in the morning and didn't come back home
but it's
until
true. It
dusk.
Is so true. Now you have kids that when I was their age, I was running around. Maybe they're they're not doing night games. Did they ever do the night games?
100%.
Hell yes.
And they actually still totally will and do it. They're not playing them all the time. Night games now are family pickle for us. Last night we were out until we couldn't see the ball.
Michelle, I'm talking about Ghosts in the Graveyard.
You know what, Lauren? I'm talking about the world has changed a bit and kids are playing fucking night games. They're just not playing them as much as they used to.
I want them to be playing Ghost in the Graveyard and whatnot. But anyways,
they totally did at an age appropriate. My kids are almost 16.
Probably 11, 12,
I mean, when
13.
you were 16, were you playing Ghost in the Graveyard? No, you were probably blazing a doob.
No, I wasn't.
Okay,
I was not. Nope, I was not there yet. I was probably making out. I was 16.
Okay.
At 18, I was blazing dubes. And we
So
weren't
it's
even blazing
16
dubes.
so
we were
it's six
smoking bowls.
Okay, so at 16 when you were making out, you guys weren't like
No
after
ghosts in the
makeout, like,
graveyard.
let's go kick the
No.
can.
No, I was not.
Exactly.
I was not. No, you're right. I was not. But I will tell you that last night brought back some old school memories. Last night, you guys, so for Chicagoland and suburbanite
Dude.
listeners and whiffs, we got blasted by tornadoes again last night. I mean, the
Have you
world's
ever-
basically coming to an end.
The
Welcome
news,
to Cozy.
the radar on the news last night looked like nothing I've ever seen before.
It looked like, honestly, it looked like Anthony and I put on The Day After Tomorrow just for, you know.
Is that with Jake
the movie?
Gyllenhaal?
I think that's, or was
Yes.
2012 with Jake
Yes.
Gyllenhaal. I can't remember which one is.
Because I texted our brother last night and I was like, how you doing? I feel like
Anyways, we
we
watched one of those like end of the world. We just put it on for shits and giggles. And last night, like Michelle, I was on the phone with Michelle, you guys, and Michelle's like, dude, it's like legit going off right now. So I called her up, and as I'm calling her up, the man on the television, all I heard was "seek cover now,"
and
I'm
like,
voice
"Are
we getting an A-bomb? Like, what's happening?"
Mm-hmm. So then that's exactly what we did. We gathered our things. I gathered a book. That's just
how was
a prop.
the basement? What did you guys do down there?
Cozy and hilarious. We were all down there. I took a picture of Mia. She was pretending she was hunkered under a blanket against a wall. We were watching the news. And literally I was kind of like commentating, and Mia's like, are you scared? Because it doesn't sound like you're scared, but what you're saying is very scary and it's freaking me out. And I was like, Mia, I'm actually not scared at all. Like, we're fine. But
Yeah,
also, like, I've never seen on the news, the guy was like, and right now there's 10 tornadoes touching down. This is really rare. And I was like, oh my God.
They were, yes, many times we heard on the news, we've never seen anything really like this before.
Yeah.
This is very rare. Basically, there was like this movement of red moving east. So
it was a wall of death.
It was
and
a
destruction.
wall of circulations. And then I love how they use the word circulations. A lot of circulations.
Yeah, stop
but
it.
But there was, if we have any listeners out in Oswego, there was I saw the video of it, a nighttime tornado. We did a partial episode on tornadoes, and I'm telling you, nighttime nados are terrifying, the thought of them.
Yeah,
because
they are.
You only see them when the lightning strikes, and then you see like this humongous swirling funnel cloud, and it's terrifying.
Well, I will tell you what was adding to our terror last night was Will was turning on the Ring app on his phone, and we were watching the storm from our front door.
Scary.
And the lightning was it was a tornadic event like I've never seen.
Tornadic, yeah. And there's some really fascinating videos out there of like the John Hancock and the Sears Tower being blasted by lightning. It's like something from Ghostbusters. Listen,
totally.
These might be the end of days, and I just want to say I am so happy that we have listeners who are going to stick it out with us. We will give you a cozy
ending, cozy close of the book.
Stick with us. And at least you'll be comfortable on the way out.
All you need is slowness. Take pleasure in the simple things. It's all we can do at this point. Literally.
Like, honestly, fuck it all. Enjoy your summer.
Literally,
when
we say care less and do nothing, we're not fucking around. Literally.
Honestly, if you really, I mean, I'm still in my pajamas over here. That's how much I care. How cute are they, though?
They're darling.
With my little cranes.
You know, everybody needs a little like short shirt, cute pajama set. It's like going to bed in a cute outfit.
Yeah, you feel kind of cute. I felt cute last night.
Totally.
Michelle, I have to tell you a story. I know you got a show and tell here in a minute. We're going to get there when we get into the watermelon, because I feel like it goes with the vibe of watermelons, your show and tell.
I think it does. I like that.
I have to tell you what happened to me last week. So is
this really something new, or have you already told me and I'm pretending like I don't know?
I don't think you know. I did mention it on the stories and Instagram.
Okay.
But I don't know if you saw because you were on vacation.
Okay.
So last week, two things happened. The first thing, I'll tell you the first thing. I'm getting my nail. I broke a nail, so I had to go get it fixed with Tom. And I pull up into my spot, and there's me, and then there's a car. There's a space for a car in front of me, and then so basically there's a spot between me and another car, available for someone to park in. And
back to back open spots.
Yeah. No, not back to back, just one spot. Between me, I was in my car parked, and then there's space for a car to park, and then there's another car, and me and the guy in front of me, we were both in our vehicle just chilling. I had a couple minutes to spare. So I'm sitting there, and a woman comes and is ready to park, and she's trying to parallel park. Now, if you can't parallel park in the city, once you try 2 or 3 times, you're kind of like, there's that. Find a parking lot.
What are you doing in the city with a car?
You want to know how to parking lot, because I hate parking in parking lots. Like, it's such a process.
Oh, no.
Like, give me a street spot, 1, 2, in and out, let's go.
Same.
This lady was not in a good way. When I looked up, her bumper was like on my car, and I was like, oh Lord, I'm not going to be that person to honk, but you clearly have no perception right now. You're not doing well. So I get out of my car. I'm like, hey, can I help you? Like, because there was tons of space. You could have put a semi between me and the guy in front of me. Like, she had no issues on how much space there was. She just didn't know how to parallel park. So I'm showing her how to cut it. And if you don't know how to cut it, you're not parallel parking. If you don't know when and in what direction, you're screwed. So we went for it twice. And I said, twice, I'm like, okay, now pull back out. And you could start seeing like beads of sweat on her. And about the third time, I'm like, can you get out of your car and let me park your car, please? Because this is not, you're not going to get it today.
Yeah. Today's not your day, sweetie.
She's like, would you please? And I'm like, yeah.
Aww.
So she gets out and I sit in, and there's a lady sitting next to me.
Oh, hey, thanks for nothing. Did you say that? Oh, jeez. Was she staring at her phone? Literally. Thanks for fucking nothing.
She was on her phone. Like, I didn't even make eye contact with this woman. I just felt like a woman sitting next to me. I mean, I was only in the car for about, I don't know.
Yeah.
6 seconds.
Jiminy,
I'm so good.
Lickety
split. I get in, I get out, and she is like, thank you so much. She's like, I was so stressed out. I'm like, and there's no reason to be. She was a younger woman too, right?
Yeah.
It's not like she was no city goer. So Godspeed to her. I hope she learns to parallel park before the next time she ventures out, from the far suburbs into the city.
And how nice of you to actually take the time out and offer a helping hand. Like, bravo to you.
Lickety split.
Good
6
job.
seconds. Thank
Good
you.
job.
And
Good
honestly,
job.
it
Humanity
was something
still
listen,
exists.
I'm trying to shift the energy here.
Okay.
Whatever I can do to put out that momentum of like just doing good. Maybe hopefully she picks something up for someone who dropped something later that day. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Maybe
if anything,
it's a tidal wave
even
effect.
if she doesn't and she just goes and tells the story about what happened to her, she is perpetuating a good energy that needs to be perpetuated.
Like I said on stories, not all heroes wear capes.
Boom and boom. Boom.
Some wear silky pajamas. Some wear silky pajamas with a botched nose job.
And boom.
So that was one interaction with a stranger. And then I had a second interaction, and it's not as feel good as that one. So I go out, my favorite thing to do. I love taking the train to the suburbs. In fact, I'm probably going to hop on the old Metro and see you later today or tomorrow via train.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? Taking the train is one of the single things that I miss the most about commuting to the city.
It's just
sitting in my car in traffic. Could have done without that.
No, ruminating, thinking about the ending.
Not being able to do anything but drive.
No, but ruminate.
Yeah, like, just be pissed off. I'll listen to a positive podcast. Positive. That'll change it. That'll shift it. No.
Mel, where are you, Mel Robbins? So I'm on the train and I'm ending my night. So I took the 9:45 train. And, by that time at night, they're not letting you sit I didn't realize this. They close off a good portion of the cars and you sit towards like the front end of it that pulls into Union Station. So I get on I'm running because I was at the tail end of it. So I run, get in a car. I have a seat and I pull up my app because by the way, I don't know if this is important, but for our listeners, if you take the train, they used to charge you extra if you were going to pay on the train. But they don't now. They stopped doing that, which is normal. They shouldn't be charging more just because you didn't have fucking time to stop at the ticket box office.
There have been once or twice
ridiculous.
Where I've winked, gave a little side smile to the fellow working, and he's like, "We're good. You can give me that original."
I know, like honestly. So I'm going and I get in my seat and I'm just kind of high from having probably literally and also having a wonderful outing with my girlfriends. We had like a little Greek dinner. My friend hosted us at her house and everyone brought a little Greek fare and it was so good and so fun and it was just lovely.
I love this.
It was great. And I'm looking
I kind
down
of want
and
to copy off of that idea.
it's a great idea. And I'll tell you, Devin, where did you get your gyros? Is it, who says it? You guys, let's play a little game. Do you play gyros, gyros,
ding, ding,
gyros?
dong? No.
Which one do you say? Gyros. That's how we were raised.
Because we're Greek. We are Grecian. And we know that when you go to Greek islands, if you say gyro,
you're gonna get
they
kicked
will
out. They're
shit in your food in the kitchen.
Sick. So yeah, I'll tell you where we got all of our good things. So anyways, I'm sitting and I'm looking down for a moment. And when I look up, there is a person, a man from, I don't know, 10 seats in front of me on the opposite side staring at me. And I mean, him and I lock eyes.
That's uncomfortable.
It was very uncomfortable. And I'm like, blink, sir, you got to blink. Like, are you having a neurological moment? Like, what's going on? So I look him in the eyes. And I held my stare because I wanted him to know
your stare back.
That I'm not, I don't know, like if you're accidentally staring at me and now I'm accidentally staring at you. And if you're not, well, prepare because I'm not going to, I just saw a meme yesterday.
So you're not using the take a picture, it lasts longer and then moving on your merry way
line?
No,
and that's another thing. I don't mouth off anymore. And that's something I used to do a lot is like say something to someone, be like, what? You know, but instead I used the strength of the stare back. So I gave him a pass for a second. So because once he had stopped looking, he like looked out the window. Okay, fine. And I looked down again and I looked back up and he's staring again. And listen, I mean, I know we can go on to say like, oh, this poor guy, what if there's something wrong with him? Well, listen, my safety is my priority right now. And I'm not fucking around. I don't care if there's something wrong with him at the moment. Right now I'm holding my stance. So then we had a staring contest. So he stared at me, just stared. I mean, we are like eyeball to eyeball. And I just stared fucking at him. And I was breathing. I was really controlling my breathing. Because I was like, you know, they always tell you like safety and like always make eye contact. Like if you're walking down the street alone and you see someone coming towards you, like look up, don't look, make eye contact with people. And that's what was in my head. I'm like, listen, you're not going to like do anything to me on the train. There's other people here, but like you can follow me. You can be a creep on the train. Like I'm just not going to be that person you're going to do it with. So we stared for quite some time at one another. And I don't know if he was getting shits and kicks out of it, but I was like, you're just so weird and you're not going to fuck with me. And I'm going to fuck with you back then.
And then what happened?
And then at one point he kind of like smirked a little bit and like looked out the window again. And
he was playing a game with you.
He was playing games and I didn't, I kept staring and I just kept staring. You would have thought I was having the neurological moment because I just was like, you know, I'm a woman by myself on a train. There is absolutely no reason for you to make me feel
uncomfortable,
uncomfortable. And like, you're fucking with me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. He was engaging at that point.
Yeah, he was. And I'm like, you're a fucking piece of shit because I'm just trying to get home safely to my family.
Yeah.
And you're making me feel
like I'm not going to be.
You're going to make me feel uncomfortable in a public space where we should all just be living in comfort and amongst one another peacefully. So
well,
those
days are gone.
The good news is that I've got his face programmed in my brain.
Yep, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the silver lining of winning a staring contest.
Let me say something. I have this great meme that I wanted to share that goes along with this story.
Oh, I hope I get it.
It's called, If I'm Ever Murdered, Feel Comfort in Knowing I Ran My Mouth Until the Bitter End.
Yep. Or you stared until your eyes stayed
Didn't shut up.
Open. Yep.
They got to me then, not till the end. I did not shut up.
You know, I have to say, just to the point about you talking about not mouthing off, I was one that my mom always said to me, our mom always said to me anyway, I feel like the younger our people got different versions of June as we went along.
What did she say to you?
She always told me, stick up for yourself. Don't ever let anybody make you feel uncomfortable. Stand up. Or don't bury your head in the sand. Speak up. And I used to more. And maybe I was more in situations where that needed to be like on trains or, you know, interactions. I don't know. I just, now I find myself in the car and stuff. And we all know that I piss people off because I'm not a great driver.
Not great is an understatement.
Okay,
That's actually not fair. You are such a bad driver. You guys, I've seen her like on two wheels turn her car. Like she literally like, there's no turn signal. I'll be following her and I'm like, dear God.
Yeah, that mom also taught me that. She was the worst driver ever.
I mean, honestly, I think you're worse. I mean, she was bad, but you literally, like, I don't even know if your wheels are touching the street. I don't know what's going on.
Ryan sees me turn into our driveway and he's like, he'll come up and be like, you think maybe next time you could slow down, bud?
The way you get in your car and
notice
go,
it. I don't even notice
sometimes, like, we'll be leaving her house at the same time. And I'm like in my car, I'm like just starting it. And it's like smoke. It's like literally she has disappeared in space. I'm like, where the fuck did she go?
I'm telling you, I attribute that to my race car brain. I would like to do a study on ADHD brains that are drivers. And I am noticing with people that I know in my observation, I'd like to name my friend Lindsay Sorensen and I have the same neurodivergent brain. And it's been told that we fly down the streets. Now, my husband doesn't appear to me to suffer from those same types of things. And he's like, it's like the turtle and the hare.
I mean, never seen anything like it. So basically you're saying that you are the shittiest driver and you don't mouth off back at people who get triggered by
because I'll get shot. Because at this point, I'll just get shot.
At this point, you have no rights to mouth back off at someone.
Listen, I'm sorry.
I'll be on the phone with Michelle and she'll be like, oh my God, and she will go on about this other person's driving behavior. And it's all just a reaction to your driving
I'm fully aware.
And you're like, this lady just gave me the dirtiest look.
Yeah.
Like, what's her problem? Her problem is your driving.
And the thing is if they knew me, and I just want to say, if they knew me on a deeper level, we'd like hang out and they'd love me. But because my driving is my first impression with every motorist on the road, I get a bad rap. So just come get to know me.
Okay, well, you should invite them over for a glass of
No, it depends.
coffee.
Probably won't be. No.
See little me in the background
Yeah, there
Good
she
morning.
is. Oh, she was just made her chin disappear. She just was because she knows I will cut anyone that walks into the kitchen on this
You
recording.
set some boundaries during podcast recording. Okay, you guys, from road rage to watermelons, I cannot get enough of my watermelon salad that I make, and I eat maybe 3. I could eat up to 3 times a day, but definitely once, mostly twice. It's basically watermelon, chunks of watermelon. It has to be a good one. It's got to be a juicy red one.
There's nothing worse than a watermelon that's gritty.
And that's been
gross.
all of my watermelons up to this point, which this watermelon is from my mother-in-law, Candy. She brought this beautiful watermelon over. And the ones prior leading up to that have been like light pink and like mealy.
Tasteless. And tastes like a potato. Potato melon.
So it's watermelon, mint, feta from the brine. Don't fuck around with any of that dry ass crumbly feta. It's a waste of money. Just do the brine. The one from Trader Joe's is amazing. And the thing about it is that if you do the one from the brine, it's got like a little bit, it obviously has like more moisture to it. You don't need a lot because it crumbles into, you don't need like big chunks of feta going in your mouth per bite. You just want a taste of that. Like kind of tart.
You want a little bit of a taste of everything when you're inserting it.
And here's the secret ingredient and the success to the salad is the balsamic glaze. So it's balsamic, but it's like almost like a syrup, if you will, but it's the glaze. And I just do zigzags. I dream about it. Like how you used to say you wake up, you can't wait to wake up for your cup of coffee. I can't wait to begin a new day for my watermelon salad.
I just wish I could meet you where you are on this watermelon
I'm sorry that you can't. I think you need, have you not had the salad like this before?
I have. There's just so many components to this particular salad that are not my favorite, but I don't want to rain on your parade.
I know you're going to say mint, and mint's not mine either, but it adds, again, this just brightness. Wait, I forgot something. And for a healthy dose of like protein, ancient grains.
Oh yeah.
Quinoa,
or farro. No, maybe farro.
No, quinoa, because it's smaller and farro's too chewy.
Do you think that I could replace this with peaches and have the same delicious flavor?
I don't see why not. I
offering?
would totally try that. Now, I've never done feta with peach, but I'm a huge feta fan.
You know,
try it. But you know what's really good with peaches? Mascarpone cheese.
You're right.
And glaze. Right. That would be a nice, that would be real nice. So listen, I just did a quick check to see what are the best ways to find your best bang for your buck when it comes to finding a watermelon, because I didn't know this. And my mother-in-law does this she looks for it.
If there's an option where you can just cut it open in the store and buy it, that's
honestly,
what I'll take. It's like literally a great mystery, but go on.
So this is what they're saying. One of the biggest things is the pattern of the webbings. So the pattern of the webbing,
the lines,
the big lines,
on the rind,
and so the larger the webbing is a sign that the watermelon has been pollinated and is oozing with sweetness. So you want like those big spaces between the webbings, not skinny green and lighter green. And then this is the one that everyone always talks about. And my mother-in-law said that this is what she saw on hers before she started chopping it up, is find the field spot. I used to think it was a sunspot, but it's actually from sitting in the field. And it's the spot where the watermelon has been resting. And it says, roll it around, look for the dark yellowish spot. If you see the nice large yellow spot, it means the melon had a chance to ripen while on the vine. Mm-hmm. So it's full of flavor. Mm. And I think that's one of the biggest telltale signs. And they even say if you see two of them, even the better.
What do you mean? Two on one melon?
Two of the
like the wind blew that thing
spots.
over, or Farmer Bob came in and was turning those
and
puppies.
gave it even more time to ripen up. Mm-hmm. Wow. So, no, that's that in regards to watermelon. I'm telling you this, it's just such a refreshing salad, but try that peach and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I will do before they turn into shriveled raisins on my counter.
Oh, speaking of peaches, the woman at the farmer's market gave me a phenomenal tip and I had no idea.
Tell me.
And this is even in traveling, because I traveled with them like from home to the farmer's market and they already were starting to show signs. You cannot have your peaches touching one another. They cannot be touching. Once you get them home, you put them on the counter, especially if they're not ripe yet. If they're still kind of hard like potatoes and you need more time, you put them on a paper towel on your kitchen counter and do not let them touch, because the moment that they start touching, mold begins to create itself.
I think I knew that.
I did not know that. And I did it. And by the way, sliced peaches, you guys, in rosé. Name of the Father and of the
Son and the Holy Ghost. The holiest ghost.
The best.
Speaking of Holy Ghost,
my God,
Lauren, you're bringing back Italian. I want to talk about Steve Baldwin for a second. Have you seen any of his TikToks?
Steve Baldwin.
Have you seen any of his TikToks about the Holy Ghost?
Steve Baldwin, I have not. No, I've heard about his TikToks, but where are you taking us? Are you taking us off the rails, or should we go to?
No, we should go to what I want to show and tell. But I want you to take a gander at what he's talking about on TikTok next time you find yourself looking for nothing interesting.
I will do that, and we will report back next week on Steve Baldwin.
Maybe
not. Michelle.
Yeah.
We received a nice package from our friends over at Vacation Brands because they heard us talking about the jelly, the basically the new and improved Bain de Soleil. And so they're like, these sisters are cool. And they sent us something they sent us more jelly.
They sent us more jelly, you guys. You guys just,
It's phenomenal. It's SPF 30.
See?
The Bain de Soleil from days past was like SPF 4.
It was. I couldn't remember.
There was nothing.
I couldn't remember. Great. They also sent us Vacation by Vacation.
How does it smell? So this is their eau de parfum. This is their perfume. It's a scent. What are the notes on it?
It's a scent of the world famous Vacation sunscreen. And I don't know if it says. Let's see here. Here we go. Fragrance notes. Oh, coconut water, coconut milk, bergamot, solar musk, banana, pineapple, pool water, swimsuit lycra, and sea salt. This is basically summer in a perfume.
So basically they are competing with Bobbi Brown's Beach with me right now. I'm going to love it.
And they do a real good job.
I can't wait.
This is something you'd like to
Thank you, Vacation, for sending us both one. How nice of you guys.
We're not done yet. We've got classic spray. Guys, we've got a spray on sunscreen. Okay, broad spectrum.
So good.
SPF 30.
30.
And one more thing.
Let me see. What is it?
If you really want to take your tan to the next level, let's throw back with a little baby oil, baby. I mean, let's turn tan as
thinking of throwing things back.
Turd.
Tan as a turd.
Yeah, dude.
I bet it all smells so good. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to put on some Vacation parfum.
If I open that, I'll ruin everything I'm wearing.
Thank you for sharing
Thanks,
that.
Vacation.
You guys, anyone out there, have you tried the Soleil? I'm sorry, have you tried the Vacation Jelly? Because that is what we're talking about. It's beautiful. It's like a balm at first, and it goes on more like an oil. It has that orange, that's that scent that we all love from the olden days. Give it a go. Let us know what you guys think, and I'll let you know what I think about the perfume next time we're on the mic. All right, you guys, here we go. We're going to switch topics here, and this is not a cozy conversation, but I feel like it's something we should talk about because it's happening in the real world, and we have some thoughts. And so we're going to take our cozy convos. We're going to take a hard right, and Michelle's kind of driving. So just think like we're on a cozy path, and then we're going to go
and then
off-roading.
you're in the car with me, and all of a sudden you're
We've gone off-roading. Yeah, it's ugly. It's bad. It does not feel safe.
You're tightening your seatbelt, but here we go.
Yeah, the throat is closing. So as we know, last week, what was it, Saturday, there was an attempt of assassination on former President Donald Trump. And even talking about it I can almost feel like my blood pressure, my heart rate picks up a little bit because it's just so scary that these are the times that we are living in.
These are the times we're living in. And this is a moment that's going to be one that you're going to remember exactly where you were when you heard what the heck was happening.
And I was at a block party, again, sitting next to a giant jump house, watching Luna when the news, all of our phones have all these, notifications now. And I looked down and it was just a quick look of like, what did it say? It said something like loud bangs heard and like blood on Trump's face. And I was like, oh my God. And listen, I don't fucking like the guy. That's obviously no secret. If you've come here thinking that I'm, a loyal followers of his, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I do not wish harm upon anybody ever. And when I saw the photos, it just makes me sad because I don't like anyone fearing for their lives, looking scared, like all makes me sad. That's just that's how I was computed. That's just how I was made up. So it makes me sad for his fear. I don't like can you imagine being shot at? The fear you would have? Like, I can't even fathom what would go through one's mind.
The first photo that I saw was of him looking scared. He was sort of huddled and he looked sort of shocked.
As one would be.
He looked old to me.
Yes.
He looked
different than the next photos, of course, that came out.
So that photo that I saw, I felt sad. I was like, seriously, like, this is not okay.
Right.
But then my feelings evolved very quickly after I started to see other photos.
Yeah. And so the photos that we're talking about, and I will tell you, we're going to kind of do reading, listening, and watching differently today. If we get to some of the stuff, we will. But one of the things I listened to was the Daily's episode on this attempted assassination. And even talking about it, it makes it's weird talking about it on this platform because it feels like that it doesn't feel like real life. That this is where we're at. This is how evolved we are as humans. This is what's happening.
Like just talking about this, like when I feel like activated, it's like here in my core, and I have that right now. That is a feeling
like that
I'm
shaky.
noticing that I'm feeling more, and I don't like that feeling.
What they were saying on this was that the photographer who got that shot of him with his fist raised, and as he shouted 3 times, "Fight, fight, fight." The photographer, I do suggest giving this episode a listen because he is telling it from his perspective. And anytime something like this happens, after October 7th, when Gaza was invaded by Hamas, or anything, 9/11, all these different moments, I always hop on my trusted source of where am I going to get my information instead of like trying to collect all of the news and all the TikToks and all of the memes. I go to like my trusted sources, which I really do encourage people to find out who is yours, and whether it's a podcast or a news agency, find your thing there. And again, vet it to make sure it's trusted and whatnot and reliable. And I find that the Daily put on by the New York Times is a proper podcast with proper and reliable journalism. And the photographer who caught that photo said kind of exactly what we were just talking about, that he saw this, like him kind of like touch his ear because he was flinched. Donald Trump flinched and he saw the blood. And that's when everyone huddled down. And he's saying like it was like a really wild moment. He's like, but I couldn't, in my head as a photographer, journalist, he's like, I kept my camera on and my finger on the button and kept just shooting, just taking photos. And he is also the one that got the photo of the bullet, what looks like a bullet going like whizzing past Donald Trump's brain. I mean, I can't even imagine just a moment of a different head position. These photos would have been very different. And I'm very glad that they're not this way, right?
Yep.
And he was just talking about how, after he got up, after the Secret Service had allowed him to get up for safety, because I do think that they confirmed that the shooter had been shot and killed by a sniper. He said he was pissed. He was angry. And you saw that anger. And I'm not here. I do not agree with the fight, fight, fight. I wish he was chanting peace, 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 or shelter, or I wish it was something different. But I understand why someone would be so fucking pissed off being shot at. Like, I mean, can you imagine? Like, I get stared at on a train, and it makes my blood boil. Someone putting your life in harm's way, yeah, I think you'd stand up and be really pissed off, especially knowing now that like the guy's dead and you're still alive and they missed you, but they were trying to kill you. It puts such a pit in my stomach knowing that the potential leader of the free world is shouting at his very loyal following to fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
It's so disheartening and disappointing.
I can't help but feel like his anger and rhetoric is just the thing that incites the very violence that we witnessed
Absolutely.
on the attempt of taking his life. I mean, I don't know. I keep going back to that. Like, this violent, angry, aggressive response is the baseline for the temperature in our nation right now.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. And speaking
and
of
that scares the fuck out of me. I don't feel comfy and safe.
Cozy. Cozy. Yeah. There's nothing cozy about that. Absolutely. And what I found very ironic, there is a video of several people that were outside of his rally that were kind of like on the outskirts, not like inside, but like kind of listening from over the fence, if you will. And there's a video of, it's so easy to find. So just, I can see if I can find and share it in our show notes, of a gentleman filming the roof where there's a gunman. Okay. Now there are two thoughts that I have here. So the first one is, if I were ever anywhere, especially something political, and I saw a plainclothes citizen army crawling on a roof, I would have left minutes. I would be so far gone from that moment, because the first thing in my head would be shooter.
Well, and
which is scary.
Especially if you went up to one of the law enforcement and said, "There's a guy over there,"
that too,
and everybody just kind of went on
there was
their merry way.
And that's on video too. And they're like, "What do you mean? Where?" And it's like, where's the urgency? Like, this is part of the problem in this country, is that guns are such a problem, and it's so real. And you just feel this like lack of concern. Again, if now you see these people pointing at this 20-year-old, the would-be assassin, I guess you would say, and people are just like, he's right there. Like, why aren't people running for cover? Just because, I mean, right? Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, during this video that is being, that is circulating, you hear Donald Trump's speech going on. And this is the most ironic part of the entire thing, is during this video, you hear Donald Trump talking about, he was on a roll about migrants and about how this country is filled with millions and millions of scary criminals and people.
And it's strange how that rhetoric doesn't scare me at all, because I don't hear I don't believe that is what we need to be focusing our fear on.
Right. Exactly my point, is that he's talking about these millions of people who are here to hurt us. And at that same moment, there is an American citizen
Harry
on a roof with an AR-style gun, AR-15 style gun, rifle, ready to blow him away. And like this, like, think about what we're talking about. What's scarier right now? Our gun problem or a migrant problem? Listen, the latter of the two, we need foundation. We need better protocol. It all needs to be in better control, obviously.
Yeah.
But that former one, that is honestly a real threat to my personal existence, to all of our existence. And it's just so ironic that while he's talking about it, we got a guy bear crawling with one in his arms trying to, blow him to bits. I don't know. From today's news, and I'm not getting too deeply wrapped up in it. I am taking time away from it and not getting, I don't know. I'm not filling my head with all of it, but he is at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee right now. And he was going to, quote, give a rip-roaring speech against Biden. But sources are saying that he's going to try to give a more unifying speech.
You know what?
Listen,
that
I've
would
never
be nice.
seen that before.
That would be nice. I would like that to happen.
Nothing about this attempt has changed how I feel about this person.
Same.
But,
and I'm so jaded on so many levels,
right.
And I have so many questions, and I have a hard time. I could go down my own rabbit hole of conspiracy theories because of how jaded I am. But it would be nice to hear the person that is running for the leader of our country to send a message like that. This cannot go on.
It can't. It's not sustainable. And I think everyone and their mother is looking at this and saying, like, it's, I don't even know if there's ever been something this tumultuous feeling. It just feels so unsettled in this space. You feel like it's left versus right, Trump versus Biden. Either you're with him or you're not. And now with this attempt, you have people on Instagram, whether they are just, plain old everyday folks or people with platforms or businesses telling you now you have to support him and you have to, like buy his t-shirt. You guys, this is wild. Sticker Mule. If you are in any business or you've bought stickers before, Sticker Mule is one of the biggest sources for getting your stickers. It's just, that's one of the biggest companies. And they sent out a mass email a day ago pledging their allegiance to Donald Trump and saying that it's time that we all support him and buy shirts. And here are their shirts that you can buy to show your support for him. And I think that is fucking insane and dangerous. And it's already happening. They're losing a ton of customers because there needs to be there just has to be some sort of separation. Like that blurred line of church versus state, that's getting so blurred. And now it's like business and political. It's all running into one another.
And it's really contentious and it's really heated and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I run from these things. I am a person that naturally avoids confrontation. I don't like that. And I feel like everywhere I turn, we are living in a situation where confrontation is the norm. And that makes my stomach hurt.
People are very quick to react. And so I wrote a column for Hillgrove Avenue magazine. It will not come out until August, but I focused on how we're transitioning from summer to fall. And fall, I mean, it's already, fall's not here, but the political environment, we are living in it, and it's only going to be put on steroids come fall because, of course, elections are in November. So it's going to just all get more intense from there. And I think that as Americans, we have to find a way to take good care of ourselves and one another. And the only thing that you can control, no matter what, no matter who wins, no matter what happens years from now, is how you are to yourself and how you treat other people. That's it. Like, that's all we've got control over. We can't control, we can vote, so please do, but we can't, that's really the one thing you can pay attention to is how you as a human are moving through the world. And I focused on being kinder to one another and ourselves because, listen, it's no secret. When the pandemic happened, shit got really weird and uncomfortable. Everyone's side came out, who sat on, if you wore a mask, you're one way. If you didn't, then you're this side. And it was just, it's like,
and now we have the KKK marching down in Nashville. That's where
right. Well, they're just showing they're loud and proud, aren't they?
But that's where we've come now because everybody's given a license.
Yeah, we've gotten this permission slip.
Their side.
So, and that's where it is. That's where we're at right now. It's like we were all standing there naked, some with a mask, some not, because we were totally exposed on where we stood politically. And then from there, it just got uglier and uglier and different issues and policies are coming into play. You just hear rhetoric and propaganda, and it's a bunch of fucking noise. But unfortunately, all this noise and rhetoric has brought up a lot of ugliness in humans. All of us, we're all guilty of it. We're all judging. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And so you guys, let's all like take a step back. Let's really remember that when we're feeling triggered, whether it's because someone said something, politically activated, or someone just cut you off and it's Michelle, to remember your breathing. And I have found, and this is coming from a yoga instructor and from someone who uses my breathing a lot to bring me back into a more grounded level, it works. And so when we're feeling like we want to snap at someone, walk away, close your eyes, take those deep breaths. And we have to remember that being kind to people, even if they're fucking assholes, is really the only way you're going to walk away from a situation, feeling whole, at peace.
Mm-hmm. I think that,
and then go ahead. Sorry. What were you
think
saying?
that when we are able to lead with that and maintain our power and the ability to be strong in being kind and having compassion, it's hard to fight back when you're met with kindness. You can try.
Totally.
How many times have you been in a situation with a total dick and you chose kindness in that situation?
Just last week, literally something else happened. Yep.
Diffuse.
Totally.
I watched an ump at a baseball game. Don't even get me started. A couple of weeks ago, sort of get picked on by parents. Okay. Ugh. And this man, we talked about it. The parents I was sitting with, we talked about it. He controlled the situation with his kindness. Yeah. His firm.
And I'm sure he was breathing it out.
He was amazing. And I literally thought, like, if everybody led with that, or more, 51% of the people led with that, it would diffuse, and it would also be a trickle effect. You can't fight back to that. You can't.
Good example to set. If the parents are going to lose it and be butt heads, at least the ump was holding it together so that we can see some sense of decency in how we treat people.
And that's the thing. No, I want to interject further on how we treat people. The example we set for our children in the younger generation perpetuates further bad behavior. Mm-hmm. And we are teaching the younger generation a way to live. If we lead in that way, there's hope.
I know. I left that part out about parenting in my Hillgrove Avenue magazine, just because I took up a lot of space and words already, but that is so true. If your kid sees you talking kindly about someone instead of talking shit, about people that are different than us, we can think of a whole boatload of people that are different than us, that they're not white and straight. Everyone else is a different kind of person than us, right? Like, instead of focusing on what that is for you and being kind about it, your kids are going to carry that legacy with them. The younger generations are going to be like, who cares if they're this or that, or this way or that way? But I was taught to be kind about them and to them.
I have to say something too, also watching the reactions of people at the rally. Okay. The reactions, camera zooming in on people, giving the finger, saying, fuck
it's really
you,
scary.
Fuck you to the camera. And now looking back, and again, I wasn't there. I wasn't sitting in the stands with the person who lost his life. How horrible. What a disaster.
Again, we lost trauma, the trauma of witnessing that.
It stays. Yes. It's here forever.
I know.
And generations to come.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's energetic. Well, you were saying that about when you were observing the individuals that were there to be at the rally,
the anger is immediate, and it's the only chosen response. And that's the part that scares me, because had this gone in a different way, who knows what would have transpired.
Who knows? I know. I'm very grateful that he did not pass. I can say that. And again, people listening and know my true feelings about him, and they are what they are, but I don't wish death upon anyone. I don't. I mean, people in the past, perhaps, that some people really deserved it, but I mean, I just can't in my whole heart say, oh God, I really wish I would have gotten him. Well, Michelle, you make a really good point there because it's an energetic flow of what people are experiencing. And it's like any sort of generational trauma. It travels and it sticks within people. So I will quote Michelle Obama and say, when they go low, you go high. You know, I think it's when they go low, we go high. But it's true. Meet someone meet them with kindness.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness. That saying is that saying because it's so
works.
true. It works.
The great diffuser.
It kind of like deactivates them. And then, hopefully they will bring it down to your level or whoever level and move forward. So guys, what a country we are living in. It is really intense. I do hope that we're all taking time to like not be on social media, to not be watching the news and do things that work for you, like pickleball. Michelle's got a new motto.
Yeah. Pickleball over politics.
Love it.
I don't know. To your point, I think that this is where we reinstate those boundaries. This is where we put ourselves in situations where we feel safe, or we go and find situations that are more fulfilling and more enriching, like my current obsession, which is pickleball, which is where no one there is talking about politics, no matter what their beliefs and desires for what the next president should be. It's all just pickle. And those are the things that people can seek out during this to sort of negate the negativity and, quite honestly, like the really scary bad energy that's floating around and going to be floating around for a while.
Yeah. And also my favorite thing to do is say no. Say no to things. Say no to that text thread where maybe it's a family text thread and they're bringing up, they're sending all these photos and you're just like, enough, I'm not doing this. Or it's going somewhere where it's just not going to feel comfortable. Say no. In my article, I put, say no to anything that makes you want to scream into a pillow. I mean, that's a good indicator that you should just say no.
Yeah. That's like next level freaking pissed off.
All right, you guys, we're running out of time, but I know, Michelle, you do have a wonderful book recommendation, which I want to share. So it's The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to say her name myself.
Me neither. So give us a quickie. Why would you suggest it and recommend it to our listeners?
Because it's a riveting read. The opening sentence, that's for me the book. Okay, really quick, in a nutshell, I feel like just a little background. This was based on a real life midwife's diary. Okay, this woman, what the heck is her name? I think Martha is her name. Yeah, Martha Ballard. And the Frozen River is this river that runs through their town in Maine. In 1789, a prominent gentleman turns up dead in the river, and her diary becomes the centerpiece of the investigation. And a lot of stuff transpires, but this is a time when women are being shamed for being unwed mothers, and the patriarchy is coming in and silencing this midwife who has delivered and taken care of every person in their town. You're seeing a shift in what's happening. And a woman that is fearless in what she believes is right and stands up to everyone. And it's about bravery and standing up for what you believe in.
I love
and I
this.
can't put it
I've
down.
got to read it. Do you own this book?
Yeah.
Are you done? You're not done with it yet?
I'm halfway.
Okay.
Can't put it down.
And I want to just say something in regards to what you just shared and what we were talking about prior to this. I'm fucking angry too. Like, I am angry at where our rights, like, they're on the chopping block. There's a lot of things on the chopping block for me and for women, for a lot of different
for marginalized people, 100%.
And I'm pissed. So I just don't want to mistake in this, like, be kind to one another. That's just to keep the peace, right? But we have to stay angry about the things that potentially can be ripped from us, that we have had the right, the luxury, I don't know, the privilege of having the right and autonomy and agency over our bodies for other people too. And this kind of stuff we have to hold on to. So get angry with your voting.
I agree, Lauren. I think people need to stay angry and also be informed. And I want people to go and look up Google Project 2025, because this is something that will directly affect every woman. And there are so many other big changes.
So many things, not just women.
It's a 1,000-page far-right conservative
it's
manifesto.
Yeah.
And it's
a plan.
and it's not new. This has been in the works for 44 years.
Yeah, and they're talking about this very openly. It's just for some reason, not everyone's hearing about it. It's a manifesto of kind of a dream plan of what it would look like if Donald Trump would be elected president again. And it's pretty spooky, you guys. So Michelle is right. Stay educated, stay angry in all the right ways. Let's move into listening real quick. As I mentioned, I'm listening to The Daily. I'm going to link that for you guys if you want to hear that conversation of a witness who was there during this, just so you can get a perspective from that. Okay, so Michelle, let's wrap things up with what we are doing for our own cozy mindful well-being. I'm leaving the country. So not kidding.
Yep, we're going to have a new and interesting recording schedule.
Yeah, I am leaving the country come September, but just for like a month. It's always been a dream of mine to spend summers in Italy. 20 years ago was the first time I ever went to Italy. When I was 21, I went for like educational purposes. They were taking kids and young adults from...
I will forever laugh at you referring to that as educational purposes.
I will say, I did not learn a lot about the language, which was the point. But I learned how to travel. I learned how to immerse myself in unfamiliar territory. So I learned life lessons, truly. And I met my best friend, Deanna, there. So, one of my most long distance friends. She lives on the opposite side of the world. But I'm for my own cozy mindful well-being, I'm planning this trip and I'm working on what kind of feelings are coming up, traveling with a toddler to Italy, to go back to a place that I love so much. And I could get emotional thinking about it. It will literally be 20 years to the date, like almost, that I went for my first time as a young woman, as a different version of myself, always me, but just a different era of my life. And I'm really having kind of fun figuring out, how do you travel with a toddler this far? Looking for places in a little town called Sperlonga, which is where we'll be staying, which is near our family. We do have family out there who I will be seeing. And I'm just really putting some effort and concentration in there to also offset a lot of the shit that's going on in our world, to focus on something that's exciting for me, which is working.
That sounds fabulous, and I'm envious.
And also, you guys, just so you know, I want to just let you know that if you need a passport and you're wondering if the expediting I think it might be 190.
Yeah,
to expedite, it costs a pretty penny. But to renew the whole thing and expedite, it was $190. I think it's $60 to expedite. It works. You get it in like almost 2 weeks flat. Just so you guys know.
Shit. Okay. Otherwise, how long does it take?
Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to get it as soon as possible. So Luna has hers. I have mine. And Michelle, I feel like you guys might not be coming.
Mia's wavering on taking a week off of school in the fall.
And doing what?
We've been talking about it.
Going to Italy. Yeah, because you guys school will be in session.
School will be in session. And Mia and I talked about going, and I just brought it up to her again, and she's wavering. So we have to have one more conversation.
You can always come still too,
You are correct.
Just, little sister, Italy. We can report from beaches of Italia.
I totally can. And that's a fact.
Michelle, what are you doing? What are you doing for your own cozy mindful well-being besides pickleball?
I'm employing cozy mindful well-being like never before. Seriously, I feel like with the temperature arising and my social feed being inundated with a lot of the stuff, I'm really employing the slowness and the simple things. Family dinners, finally reading a good book. Thank the Lord. Listen, if it wasn't good, I don't know if I'd be here as happy. But also pickle. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry. I know I'm so annoying, but you're not annoying. When I read my human design, and one of the things that I learned about myself was I have to be excited about things. Like I can't just go each day doing the same thing. My mind changes. I have new interests. I like to learn how to do different things. And pickle has my heart right now.
And I'm happy for you. I've just teased you about, something other than pickle. But listen, is what you said at the beginning before recording, as long as it never interferes with your relationships, or your business partner, then we're good.
That is the sign of a true addiction when those things start
when you have to
happening.
say that too.
literally, like Ryan told me, he asked me about something yesterday, and what did I say? It was about maybe picking someone up or maybe missing a base something. And I was like, for Pickle? I'm like, when I start missing things like that for Pickle, we've got a problem.
Surprised you haven't already missed a few things for Pickle.
We'll see. Time will tell.
All right, you guys, we hope that you are all doing well. Take good care of yourselves out there, okay?
Yep.
Turn off the news once in a while. And as always,
stay cozy, friends.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.